Hi guys, I hope you're all okay. Today is 5th of December. I'm back here in Bangalore in my room, and today is the International Volunteers Day. So, 3 years ago, I interned with an organization called childrightsandyou, and I was a digital marketing intern. And we ran a campaign to prevent 300 girls from falling victim to child marriage. It was a very successful campaign, and I've kind of stayed in touch with Cry after that. And it's so exciting because today, in this virtual world we're in right now because of the pandemic, I've been called to be a part of a panel for the IVD event of Cry, and I'm so excited. So it's just my experience as a Cry intern, and if you want to see what I've done, I'll post a link somewhere here, so you can click on that and see the video that I made and also just the work that we did during my time in Cry. And I just hope you also enjoy this experience of mine with Cry, and just, I don't know, let me know what you think. And I highly encourage all of you to be a part of any organization and volunteer on weekends and in any field that you are interested in. Volunteering does bring great amount of joy and purpose to your life. So in a busy life, in this, you know, chaotic environment that we live in, it's quite peaceful to do something outside of yourself and to contribute outside. So I encourage all of you to be active participants and also volunteers in any way possible in any organization. If you are a volunteer, happy Volunteers Day, and let's just continue doing good and try to be the sunshine on a rainy day.
Let us hear another young volunteer now. Abhishek is a marketing graduate. She's an avid reader. She's a traveler. She absolutely loves learning new things. That's what I got to know when I was trying to know her better for this event. And she spends most of her time researching. So her stint with Cry began with an internship, but so many things actually changed subsequently. How? Let's hear her out. Over to you, Abhishek.
Okay. Can everybody hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello. My name's Abhishek, and I am a fresh marketing graduate from the University of Manchester. I've just come back. And thank you so much for this opportunity, Cry, to let me speak among such inspiring people. It really means a lot to me. So my experience with Cry started in 2017. I was just done with my bachelor's degree. I was looking for internships, and I got lucky to get one with childrightsandyou. And I worked as a digital marketing intern from September of 2017 to November of 2017. And it initially started off as a 1-month internship. I didn't really know what to do after that. But once I entered Cry, my mentor saw me and took a chance on me. And she actually gave me a chance to work on a marketing campaign, like an online digital campaign. And that was a lot more than what I'd experienced, like straight out of college. So obviously I jumped right into it. And so that was one part of my experience with Cry. And initially what started off as a 1-month internship then got extended to 3 because of the campaign. And along with that, I also started volunteering on the weekends. So we went out and we had a few sessions on menstrual health in the government schools and health camps and all of that. But my main part, which I played, was in the office of Cry. And so, yeah, it was quite different from what the other volunteers get. They get to be on the field most of the times. But I worked in the office, and initially it started off as a goal to improve my CV. That was why I got into it. But everything changed once I got into it. So the campaign was to prevent 300 girls from falling victim to child marriage. And this campaign gave me so much to learn from, even in the aspect of my skills, because I got so many skills in online fundraising and marketing itself, which I wouldn't have otherwise. And we designed a documentary advertisement. We had very good copy and infographics. And we also had a bunch of other interns working so passionately. So it started off with me as one person working on this campaign, but it extended to like 15 people working in the end. We were all interns from different backgrounds. There were law interns, there were business interns, and then there was me who came from advertising. So it was really nice. And the biggest takeaway from this campaign was that we as human beings, we do better when we have hope. So I personally believe that online campaigns have never been more relevant than today with COVID and with everything moving online. But what we've realized is that it's much harder to run an online campaign than a real life campaign, because in real life you can get the person to engage with you. You can get them to feel empathetic about the situation because you talk to them and you engage with them directly. But that factor doesn't play online a lot of times, because it's much easier to ignore a campaign. It's much easier to just scroll past something because you can avoid the guilt because nobody's watching your decision. And I'm not saying you don't have to feel guilty to volunteer. I'm just saying it's much easier to kind of avoid it and push it away online and just focus on your own thing. But I think as an intern or as a volunteer, if you're working mostly on an online space, then what you need to do is you need to give them you need to put the audience in charge and make them realize they already can make a difference. And your job as a volunteer then would become to make them realize that and give them the power to actually make the difference. And I think the way we say it as, say, interns or volunteers from a creative space, that makes all the difference. So it turns out that the campaign was actually very successful. We did manage to cross 5 lakhs within 48 days, and then the money still kept coming in, the funds still kept coming in. And initially, I really didn't know what to expect, because most of like the people who volunteer, they get to engage with the people directly, with the kids directly. But then as an intern, you begin to wonder, what impact have you had? Like, have you had any direct impact? So I thought achieving the target would give me the biggest satisfaction in the beginning. But then there was a moment after all of this was done and we were counting the funds, we were sending thank you notes to people who had given in big donations. And I found that there was one donor who donated twice. And it was a really big amount. He donated twice. And so I reached out to him personally, and I realized that he was just one of my Instagram followers whom I'd never spoken to at all. And I thanked him, and then I couldn't help myself, but I asked him why he did that. And he told me that his mother was married off very young, and so he thought she'd been robbed of her opportunities, of her potential, and so he just wanted to be able to contribute to make sure that no other child has to go through that, and like escape the fate that his mother had. And that's kind of when you realize that achieving the target is actually a consequence of something much better. So that was not the main satisfaction for me. The biggest satisfaction was that this campaign has had its impact on both spectrums, on the donor spectrum and on the receiver. So that's the biggest realization, and that's the opportunity that I got in Cry. That it initially started off as a CV development thing, but it actually fundamentally changed me as a person, because you realize that there's so much you can do through your skills, no matter which skill you have, And the environment in Cry, the office was great. We had the best coffee, which I still very miss very dearly, and Soumya was such a good mentor. That's everything you can expect from a mentor when you get into volunteering, because you need someone who can guide you. And she, even though I was just a beginner, she had so much faith in me, and she made sure that the environment was of constant learning. So it was, and that's something I personally enjoy. I love learning. So she really pushed us to like explore our potential and gave us new activities, even in volunteering, like going out and working in the weekends. So there was nothing more I could ask from an internship. I can really tell you that this was the best internship I've ever done in my life. And I'm so grateful to have gotten her as a mentor too. And I'm sure like anyone else who has volunteered with Cry has also resonated with that if they've gotten her, or anybody else, because it's such a nice homely environment even in the office. So yeah, and then I think in the end, even through this one experience, to sum it up, I know, being a realist, that one person single-handedly cannot actually bring about huge difference, maybe a small amount of difference, but you can bring about a significant one. But then one experience can actually change an entire person's life. And that's what happened to me. So with Cry, it changed my whole perspective about kids and about volunteering and about all of that. And it changed me fundamentally as a person. It made me ask some very important questions. How can I make a difference? How can I make a difference at a grassroots level, like the way Cry does? And how can I make someone else's life more meaningful and think outside of myself? And I think that's something that's invaluable, because how many people get the opportunity to realize that unless you've been given that opportunity, which Cry did. So 3 years later, so I started with 2017 and we're here in 2020 in the end of it. And I can very confidently say that Cry is not an organization, it's a family. And that's what family does. It takes in people, it takes care of people, and we look after one another, we grow together. And I hope that we can continue to do so. And I hope that whoever's watching really gets inspired to volunteer, because you in the end of the day, whether you get something out of it or not, there is a difference on both ends, and it might be very minute. You might not even realize it, but I'm telling you that even it doesn't have to make a difference only in the kid's life. It will make a difference in your own life too. So I hope you go out there and volunteer and intern or contribute in any way possible. And thank you so much, Cry, for this opportunity. I'm so happy to be a part of this family, and I will continue to do so in every way possible. Thank you so much.
How beautifully expressed, Abhishri. Volunteers indeed are our lifeline at Cry. Spreading the positivity and hope through such countless efforts and collective realizations. Now that you say, and so many memories that we see ourselves recollecting, that we miss our office and all those little moments. Soumya, you are there? Please to share a few such snippets from the South experience. We heard Abhishri wonderful. Anything you wish to add from how as Cry, how as the volunteer action team we have, every day we live our lives with our volunteers and interns. Are you there, Soumya? Okay, Veronica, you there? You also must be echoing, because we are all like in different regions, and we get a wonderful opportunity to work with young people like them. Veronica, any quick thoughts or quick snippets from the Cry perspective?
Hi, sorry.
Kanchan, can you please unmute? Okay, so sorry. These are technical things.
Sorry.
So Soumya, Veronica, maybe quickly some quick sharings will really liven up the mood.
I was listening to Abhishek and the other volunteers. I just feel that people like them is what makes us inspired each day to work, because each day when we think about the kind of work which Cry does in program areas, interventions, there are a lot of partners who does amazing work. But with volunteers, after their full day of work in college and in corporate, wherever they work, they come in for that few hours, and what they do is what inspires me every day to work with them. So Abhishek, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to work with people like you. It is what makes us going, is what I think. Thank you so much.
Great. Veronica, any quick
can I go after
additions to that?
I'm waiting to hear him also talk.
Sure.
So lovely. Abhishek, I think the one thing that really the one thing that I missed a lot was just you talking about the office. And I think that just turning up to work every morning despite everything. I've seen volunteers really, we've in our region also, we've had volunteers working through their COVID phase. They've had the virus and they've been working with our children. We've seen volunteers really, recharging children's phones just because our children could not cope up with internet. I barely have only this much of internet connectivity. So just you made me miss the office a lot, and you made me miss just meeting volunteers, because just all of you and the vibe and just the energy that all of you bring in. Thank you for your sharing.